right, everybody. Happy Easter if you celebrate. Happy Passover. It's episode 2 of the Breakdown Podcast. I am Witty Calf, joined with my co-host and my partner in crime, Skate.
Yes,
How are
sir.
you on this lovely Sunday? Sunday is the recording day in case you listen to this in the future. Skate, how you doing, brother?
Well, first
your
off,
weekend
I want to
been?
say hey to everybody in the future. That's wild how all this works. I'm doing well so far. I mean, it was actually kind of a nice day. It started off kind of rainy. I finally ventured out of my house for the second time in I think 2.5 weeks. I had to go to the grocery store because I was running out of Dr. Pepper. That's not a plug for Dr. Pepper. I just really like Dr. Pepper. But we all run out of supplies at one point or another, and today was that day. I tried to go to the hardware store because I've got some, little house things I need to do, but apparently they were closed because of Easter still. I completely forgot it was Easter when I woke up this morning because, all the days are blending together. It didn't feel like a
Every
holiday.
day is the same day.
Yeah, right? I mean, they're still going to be closed for it apparently, so it is what it is. But, yeah, a lot going on, but... yeah, we might as well just roll on into the news stuff that we got.
Roll right in. Let's get right to it. CGL news. Let's start it out with Google Stadia. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yes,
Skate,
Stadia. Stadia is how it's pronounced. I don't know how familiar you are with how Stadia works. It's still relatively new, so...
I know you pointed it out to me, and then I looked it up a little bit this morning, and I was like, holy crap, this is actually pretty cool. So let's talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a cloud-based gaming service. They're offering 2 months free, 4K res, 60 FPS. You see the controller there up on your screen right now. I do like the controller. It's a nice little wide. Skate, you've signed up and you're testing it out. You all right? You're involved.
I'm going to give you the
far.
full scale review from day one. I've got probably 2 hours or so on Destiny 2, which comes with that free pro subscription that you're getting for 2 months. So there are only a handful of games. It's kind of a rolling group of games that they have where they're rotating some in and rotating some out. But it does have a console feel to it when you're playing it. It's very responsive. It doesn't have that lag like you would think because nothing's installed on your PC or your phone or your Chromecast, whatever you're playing on. Everything's handled remotely, so you don't have to worry about updates or downloads or anything like that. It's just you're essentially using the internet as your gigantically long USB cable. Think of it that way. That's connected to a box somewhere, who knows where. But I tell you what, I was blown away. I tried it on the PC a little bit first because that's kind of native. It actually just runs in a web browser on your PC. You don't even have to install Stadia software on your PC. But you can also install it on your smartphone, which is a very interesting thing. You install Stadia on your smartphone. You can I used this right here. This is an Xbox controller, an Xbox, One controller, just a regular old, I think this is a 2nd gen because it's Bluetooth. You can Bluetooth this to your phone and play the games on your phone using a controller.
Dope.
I was playing Destiny 2 on my Google Pixel using this controller. It was the wildest thing I've ever seen, and everything was responsive.
Crazy.
It was playable, and it felt like I was playing it, on my Xbox because I do own it for Xbox. So I did have that 1-to-1 comparison, and I'm blown away with it. And like you said, the controller looks like a mesh between a PlayStation and an Xbox controller. It looks like the child of it, as it were.
But yeah, that's pretty crazy. So I'm guessing when you're playing through Stadia, you weren't able to use your Xbox account on what you were playing on your browser, were you?
No, I was not.
Okay.
But I haven't really experimented with it yet. I need to go in, but I think through a game like Destiny 2, there's some kind of cloud sync that Bungie does on the back end, and you should be able to sync them up that way. And I think you can play cross-play on that. I don't know for sure, but I don't know what this actually qualifies for. I guess it would technically be a PC version, but like I said, they've got the controller. The controller, obviously, you have to buy. If you want to buy that, the controller's like $60 or $70, I think, for the controller, which is kind of steep. You can do, I think it's $129 will get you the controller and a Chromecast Ultra, which you plug the Chromecast Ultra into your TV. You don't even have to have a smart TV, just any TV with an HDMI port, and then you can play with the controller on there. And it's just like playing console without the console. It's wild. They have a lot of AAA titles on there too. I think you can go on there and buy like Red Dead Redemption 2 and play it through. A lot of good stuff on there. It's very promising, as we've seen Sony and Microsoft also trying to get in this atmosphere with, I think it's PlayStation Now, PlayStation Live. I always forget the name of that. And Xbox has their, I think it was originally called Cloud X. I don't know what they're even calling it now, but there is a mobile version of that I've got on my phone that I'm going to try out too with the Xbox controller to see how that goes. But it's an exciting time, and it's kind of interesting to see how console gaming is changing in light of that. What defines a console game is going to be, in question, I think, in the next few years.
You're right about that. Wow. Yeah. Console TV anywhere, or console system anywhere with the TV.
Yeah.
Anything with the screen.
Maybe anything with one of these.
Yeah, right. That's pretty awesome. So, okay, I might have to get involved with that myself.
Yeah, it's free.
That
Anybody
opens
with
up a lot of options.
Anybody with a Gmail account, free for 2 months right now because of the condition of the world that we're in. They've decided, hey, here's 2 months to try this for free. I think that pro service after the 2 months is $9.99 a month, so it's $10 a month. It's not terrible. I mean, if there's some games you want to play on that pro service, you don't have to buy the game. You get it included with that pro service. To my knowledge, what it looks like, I didn't get a for sure answer. It looks like if you buy some of the standalone games, like maybe Red Dead Redemption 2, you don't have to carry that subscription. It's available anytime to play. So it's just like buying, the copy of it through the Xbox store or the PlayStation store.
Well, that's going to be interesting to see what kind of impact that has. If that blows up, maybe they get even more titles on there. But I think just in this time period right now, and just as, hey, Google hasn't had any ties to video games before, so them getting involved in that sense is really cool, especially just plugging in a browser and bam, there you go. You can play video games. Oh, okay, my phone is listening to me.
I think your Google was trying to talk to you. Your Google Home heard you.
You're not a guest host, Google. Get out of here. Okay, so we saw the Google Stadia controller, how that was looking like a hybrid of the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One controller. Let's get into the PS5 controller. That's the only thing I know about PS5.
I promise these are two different pictures. I promise.
And this was a big thing. So look at that. PlayStation, to me, since I had Sony PlayStation, I had PS2, and then when it went to PS3 or Xbox 360, that's when I kind of ventured to the Xbox. And it was because one of the big things was the controller. As I got older, I felt the PS2 controller was too small for my hands. Same thing with PS3. PS4 was a little bit better, but still small. This, I think it looks cool. I definitely think it looks like the offspring of a Xbox One and a PS4 controller.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty close, right?
Pretty close. It still has your usual Sony thing where both your analog sticks are perfectly horizontal from each other.
Yep.
But I like the look of this. I kind of like the design. It looks like it still has that touchpad in the middle there that Sony brought in for PS4.
I think I read in the article that will still have some of that functionality built in, and they're wanting to open that up a little bit more. It just never really hit the ground running with the PS4 titles, but I think Sony is trying to push that a little bit more in this console to have that little area be useful, since it's a pretty high-tech piece of equipment right there.
Yeah, it is.
You might as well utilize it.
Yeah, I know. I've only played sports games on the PlayStation 4, and all that button was for was to call it timeout. So great big pad.
That's a big timeout.
Small feature. It's a big timeout. So we're getting into that area of time where we're going to slowly start seeing more leaks for the new consoles, because I guess technically as of now it's still scheduled for a holiday season release.
Yeah, I think we're looking at about 7 months from now.
7 months from now, it'll definitely be here before we know it, and we're I do think as the first leak that look, color scheme wise, design wise, and functionality, that looks awesome. So hats off to Sony for that. I could definitely see myself playing on that controller.
Oh yeah, I like it. Like you said, it looks like the sticks are moved up a little bit. As I try to look at it at the same time as I talk about it, it looks like the first real redesign from the ground up that I think probably since the DualShock was initially released, because those sticks have always been very low on that controller, and they almost look like they were added after the fact because you had the little extra casing at the bottom.
Droopy.
Not the case with these. This looks like it was built in mind that we wanted to move the sticks up. Everything looks like it's almost symmetrically in line with where it would be on the Xbox controller, but you've got the stick and the D-pad switched, which is, typical of the PlayStation controller. So I like it. I think it's a good looking controller. I hope it feels good too. What I'm hearing is there's going to be haptic feedback in it as well, so there may be some zoning as far as the rumbles and how the feedback is in the controller for different settings in games. So that's another interesting thing to look out for.
This stuff's getting like,
what a time to be alive.
So crazy. But the graphics are going to be ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
The controller, just that haptic feedback and where it should rumble. That I don't know, man. It's grown a lot, and it's grown a lot in like 10 years. Oh
yeah.
For consoles, and it just makes me think of the fact that 10 minutes before we started, you sent me that video of the dad playing his son. He must have got the dad must have got popped in Call of Duty. So what
as all of us old folks do, we just get popped in Call of Duty. I've been playing a lot of Warzone, not very well,
kids.
But that's what happens to us old folks. We're not as good at that.
And then dad pops out the N64 and turns on GoldenEye. The kid looks confused. He's all worried about the graphics.
Oh yeah.
He probably felt that N64 controller and didn't know what to do with himself.
I would love to fire up some N64 games and hand the controller to a kid to see if he can figure it out.
It's like, here you go.
Here you go, just figure this out.
What are you supposed to do with this? There's a joystick in the middle. There's a D-pad on the left side. What are you to do?
Why are there
There's
3 handles?
On the back.
To be honest, to this day, we still don't know why there are 3 handles.
We still don't know why. I guess because some games you needed the joystick. Some games you could use the D-pad.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a weird time, but 3 handles. We haven't seen it since.
Nope.
But
that was a
see
fail.
that was a failure, and you just seen everything come full circle to now, where your controllers are bigger. They're going to be able to tell where your hands are gripped and where it should vibrate and all this crap. So it's a crazy time to be alive if you're a gamer. But hats off to Sony. That controller looks sick.
Yes.
Definitely have to get my hands on that and see what the feel is for sure. And so moving on from that, I thought I could tie it in uniquely, but I couldn't.
You tried. You gave it your best.
The effort was there. That is, in the end, all that matters. However, CGL did something new on Friday night. It was, I watched it all. Once the stream went live, I thought it was great. We had Friday Night Overwatch, which is what we talked about last week, that we wanted to have, bam, one game be the highlight. Well, guess what? Week 3 of the season, we gave you 2 games. We gave you a pre-game show, an in-between show. I thought it was fantastic. It was like the Knights of the Round Table when it comes to casters and CGL right now for that pre-game show. You had Sultan, you had Billy, you had Bull Skunk, you had Korvik, you had Skate.
Oh, hey, that's me.
So I could talk about it from a fan perspective.
Yeah, please do. I would love to hear
how the games went. All right,
we've heard a little bit. So those of us that were involved, we got a little bit of feedback, but it was mostly from internal people. I would love to know what people thought outside of the inner circle, as it were. So let's hear it. Let's hear it. Rip it apart.
No, I absolutely loved it, especially being the big sports fan that I am. It felt like how you watch any sports game. Before 30 minutes before the game starts, You got your pregame show. You're kind of setting the scene for the viewers, the casual viewers, the hardcore viewers. And I thought it was great that all you guys had the cams on. Everyone looked comfortable. There was good discussion going back and forth. I thought for the first time, hit it right out of the park. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And you got to see 2 different tiers of games, which is awesome.
Yes.
And I think we had some names, like some of the teams that have a backing in, you know, just casual wise, like Valor Prestige in that first game. I know a lot of those guys are on a Facebook group, so there's definitely a big backing for those guys.
Yeah.
And then the game 2, you had Danny DeVito, who one of the best branding out of any team that's come out of this scene.
Oh, easily.
So that's always great for them. And that's a team that I know Sultan touched on it in the preview. That's a team that's been around at its core since probably season 3 of OXC.
They've been around longer than me, because I think this is only my 3rd Overwatch season. So yeah, they've been around longer than me. So the season before that, I guess. But yeah, they've been around a while. Their social media presence is spot on. Like, they know what they're doing. If you're not, go follow them for sure. They're a fun group to follow. And they also get results. Like, they're not just a pretty face, as it were. These guys show up and play. They're last year's Tier 3 champions for a reason. They just about ran the table on everyone.
Crazy.
Yeah, and then they moved up. Because that's what you do after you win a tier. I mean, I think that's the next logical step, right? We just move on up.
That was some background here as this happens. This is going to happen from time to time.
Yeah.
I always wanted to find a way for like the tier winner to move up, because I just thought that would be the natural progression of a team. But you get some teams to where they get hot, they win the tournament, and then all those guys just seem to flame out and forget how to play the game of Overwatch. It happens. There's times where I'm playing where I feel like I've forgotten how to play the game of Overwatch.
That's me every game.
It's not always a natural thing, but I think it's really cool that they did that. And so far, 3 weeks in, they're having success. So
yeah,
I thought that was great, and I definitely hope this continues. You get the different set of opinions. You're starting to get people that are tuning into that pregame show. They're, you know, they might have a rooting interest, but when you sit back and compare the tail of the tape between the 2 teams, it's cool because there's a lot of teams here. So not everyone is going to know everything about every team. We got like 260 plus teams. It's crazy. You're not going to know everything about all teams. If you do, hats off to you. You are a magician.
You're probably crazy. Killer at like rotisserie league baseball too. If you can follow that, because that's essentially what it's like. It's like you're following. It would be like following all of Major League Baseball and all of the individual minor leagues at the same time. I don't know how you do it.
No. So if you can do that, hats off to you. Feel free to give us information about each team then, especially when people are going to cast.
Absolutely. I'm open for that. I could use all the info you got. If you got a hot take, let me know. I will gladly
hot
put it out
takes
there.
welcome.
Absolutely. So yeah, we want to make this a regular thing. So teams, we're asking that teams be mindful when they're scheduling their games to kind of keep that in mind. Everybody likes that 8 p.m. time slot, which I get. I mean, that's prime time. It's right in the middle. That's when I schedule most of my games. But if we can get people scheduling like a 7, a 9, a 6, a 10, just all across those ranges, it gives us more variety to select from as well. So let's put it this way. If you're scheduling your game at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Eastern time, you probably have a better chance of being selected for Friday Night Overwatch, because we do want it to be that double header. So if we can make it work, we're going to try to make it work. If we don't feel like it works, we'll just go with the one game on Friday night. But we want to make this a regular thing moving forward. The feedback was great. People seem to enjoy it. I don't know if I will be going full Lee Corso every time I make a prediction, but for those of you that didn't see it,
you might have started a gimmick there, and I like it.
I might have to go Corso every time and have props with my selections, but we'll see how that goes.
All right, so I gave you some perspective of a viewer and a fan.
Mm-hmm.
As a caster.
Yes.
How was it? Well, like, what was the planning like? What was sitting there for 2 games like? Well, what was going on in Skate World that Friday night?
Oh man, that was a day. I tell you what, I had a busy day. I've been working at home for 2.5 weeks now, and that was another busy day where I was basically putting the finishing touches up on 2 extremely long PowerPoint presentations all day, working until about 4:30, and then the turnaround of, oh shoot, I got to get everything ready for Friday Night Overwatch. I got to clean, I got to shave because this bald head has to look good for the camera for all the folks. So it was hectic leading up to it. It was very ambitious, but it was also something that Swift, Sultan, Corbeck, and myself, who were kind of the ones behind the planning of all this, felt that we could pull off. We were about 90% sure we could do it. It was that 10% of, well, what if this breaks or what if that breaks that we were afraid of, because we didn't really have a contingency plan in place. But the internet gods were very helpful Friday night and allowed it to happen. Hats off to Salt and Pepper. If you guys didn't see it and you've not seen anything that we've done, he actually designed the layout we're using now. He designs all of our graphics. He is a wizard. He came up with a lot of that stuff like on the fly a day or 2 leading into that Friday Night Overwatch. So he was changing things as it was happening. He's incredible. I can't put into words what he does. If it wasn't for Sultan, that wouldn't have gotten done. So all the props go to him, I think. As a caster sitting there doing the pre-show, it was very busy. If you go back and check the video, I feel like I'm just beating that drum to death, but you'll see me looking off to the side as I'm trying to configure things, because I'm in charge of the lobby of the first game as well. So I'm trying to get all the players in, make sure the rosters are correct, while also waiting for like Corbeck to finish talking so I can pop in with my 2 cents and then go right back to it. So ideally, it's something that we will build on. I think moving forward, we'll try and get a little bit more staff involved. I just don't think, I don't know if it was given the holiday weekend, maybe it seemed like everybody was occupied Friday night and was not able to assist us with that. So moving forward, we'll try and get it a little bit better planned, and get some more staff. I guess it would be helpful to have somebody to run the lobby for us, so that, Corbeck and I, and then on the other side, Bullskunk and Billy can just focus on the game, because that's when you get the best casting product, when the casters don't have to worry about overlays and scores and changing scenes and camera angles. We can just look at the game how we want to look at it and just work with what's in front of us.
I think you're right about that. I think it's definitely something we're going to keep trying, as long as you guys are ready, because I think you guys crushed it and knocked it out of the park. And we got some very competitive games. The first game, Valor Prestige 3-0 over No Sympathy, Cracked Crackers.
That game was closer than that.
Exactly. I was trying to think of how to put it. It was basically Valor found a way each time No Sympathy got any momentum and started to turn the tide. Valor came out and found a way to turn that point over, or get that team wipe to advance the point more. Like, I think No Sympathy played them very well, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, Overwatch is really just it's as much as it is a team game, it's a timing game too.
It really is.
If you can find a way to quell momentum and flip it at the end right there for your team, you can find a way to win maps and pull maps out where you think you should lose and maybe you got outplayed. And I think Valor did that essentially and very well in game 1. So hats off to them. But that No Sympathy team, not a team to look at lightly.
No, they rebounded from each of the blows from Valor Prestige very, very well. And it goes to note, they tied on Hanamura. There was a draw in there.
Yep.
So I mean, it was a very, very close match, and it really could have went either way. As I think of those 3 wins, I think 2 of them were overtime wins, if I am correct, where the payload got there at the last second during overtime. So it was something else to see.
I know Elios, it went
2-1.
It went 2-1, and
I believe No Sympathy
the
actually took
last
the
map
first map in Ilios was up 1-0.
And then they were on Lighthouse, which was the third map.
Yes.
And I just remember and Valor survived an onslaught of an onslaught of ults and just found a way to get that one pick, and then a couple seconds later get that next pick, and eventually as their guys returned, they were up in the kill feed and eventually took it over. And you're just sitting there, I'm just like, that's a team that you gotta put away, because if you don't and you give them room to breathe, they're gonna find a way to get back into it and get the advantage. Hats off to Valor. Fantastic game to start it off. And then game 2, Danny DeVito wins 2-1 and a tie over Descendants Ruby. Excuse me. Another good game where, again, almost every map was back and forth. What's going to happen here? I'm rooting for that tie not to come so you can get that potential 5th game.
Yeah.
Unable to happen. Danny DeVito
you essentially had it in game 4 because it was 1-1-1 going into game 4. So
that's true.
You essentially had the game 5 on a hybrid instead of a control point. So it was interesting to see that all kind of play out. And Danny DeVito, we talked about we had predictions and whatnot on Friday Night Overwatch. I was this close to nailing them. I had Valor Prestige 3-1 and Danny DeVito 3-1, so that's how close I was to having it. That's dang close.
And you did the Lee Corso gimmick, and you were one map off. Skate. You got to do it.
Now it's a thing. Now I got to do it.
Send any merch or any stickers, to this man.
Merch, all that kind of stuff. Send it to me, and I can use it on the stream. I am a shill for that. I have no pride in it. So we'll just do it all on the air.
We'll just do it all. He can always print your logo out if he can find it somewhere. But it's always good to get that name recognition out there for your brand.
That sticker, see how much better it is when it's on a vinyl sticker. I can just hold it up.
You can hold it up. You can put it on some Doritos. You can put it on a water bottle. Anything.
I can
so get your team branded.
Put it on a loot box. I mean, we got a loot box to open here.
See, teams inspire for this. Talk early. Get on Friday Night Overwatch. Be a part of the doubleheader. Get on the pregame show. Overall, very successful. The viewer count was up and up and up. That was great to see.
Yeah.
As I'm sitting there lurking. So to the community, thank you. We were awesome supporting that. Twitch chat was popping.
Absolutely.
Not a whole bunch of craziness there, so that's always a good sign. And definitely something to look forward into the future as we get deeper and deeper into the regular season of the multi-tier tournament. Also, CGL-wise this weekend, had the $180 6v6 Battlefield Finals.
Yes.
PLG versus XCD, and PLG swept 2-0, getting that victory. And that was streamed yesterday on CGL1 at 6 p.m. United Kingdom time. That was, I feel like mid-morning here in the U.S.
Yeah, I think it was what, about 1 p.m. Eastern, maybe 1 or 2 Eastern. I can't remember what that conversion was, but I got the alert, but I actually took about a 3 or 4 hour nap yesterday, unplanned. Those are the best, right?
Here.
Like, I was watching the Harry Potter marathon that was on USA, and I fell asleep, and like I was on a different planet. It was one of those naps where you wake up, but I woke up to find out that this was already over, and I was upset that I missed it, but it went really fast from everything I could tell. It was just under an hour as PLG absolutely dominated XCD, but the recap that I got from looking back through was XCD was close. It's just that it looked like PLG was just a little bit better through the entirety. It's like sometimes it's just a mismatch, and there's only so much you can do, and it just seemed like it was that case, that PLG was just a little bit too much for XCD yesterday.
Well, that's something to look forward to. Maybe XCD in Battlefield is definitely a team to watch out for. Hats off to both of those teams, PLG and XCD, for making the finals. Congratulations to PLG for winning the $180 prize pool. and good job getting that streamed on CGL1 yesterday, which ties us in. We got some more events upcoming.
Oh, yeah.
2 definitely in particular, considering they're 2 and 3 weeks away. It looks like.
Yeah, I guess they are now. I didn't realize. I just looked at the calendar. I've been stuck at home. I don't know what day it is. Apparently today was Easter. I'm still finding that out.
The Easter Bunny didn't come visit you, I assume, which is always a little sad.
No, you know what it is.
Very cream eggs.
It was because I didn't get to watch the Masters today. I'm missing sports. Today was supposed to be Masters Sunday, which is one of my favorite days of the year. I love Augusta and watching that tournament. I can't watch a lot of golf on TV, but by God, I can watch the Masters.
Something different about the Masters. I'm not the biggest golf fan either, but 4th round Masters.
Oh yeah.
If I'm not watching the whole thing, I'm at least dedicating an hour to 2 hours.
Oh yeah, it's on in the background when you're doing other stuff for sure.
And that's the great thing about golf.
Absolutely.
But we do, as we talked about before we got off there, 2 events coming up 2 weeks away now. 2 weeks from yesterday, actually, to be exact. How about this? Give us a little drum roll action. People have been clamoring for it, and we are diving in to Call of Duty Warzone.
Yes. Finally.
$150 prize pool, April 25th. It will be streamed on CGL1. Registration and info for this event is at consolegamingleague.com/COD. Nice and easy. COD. Skate. I have not played this game yet, although my friends have. I have it downloaded. They have just fallen in love with Smite right now, so we're literally playing Smite and NBA 2K.
Sure.
So bizarre games there. But I've yet to play it as someone that has played it.
Yes.
Although you have admitted that it's not going well.
No.
What do you think? What's this format going to be like? How does the game play out? And what should we be looking for here?
I'll be curious to see how the rule set kind of falls into place, but I think it'll be very similar to what you see for something like a Fortnite or an Apex tournament, where you will be giving your results as they come in, playing as many games as you can within a time frame, or maybe an X number set of games that you will actually queue into. But it plays a lot like the other battle royales. So it has an Apex feel, but with a Call of Duty skin on it, where you don't have all of these special abilities that the characters have. It's just Call of Duty. You're running around finding your different weapons. You do have the ability to have preset loadouts drop that you used in your other game modes, so you can have set things that you can go find. There's an interesting little caveat with it. If you die early enough in the round, I don't know at what point it stops, but you go into the gulag and you have a chance to fight your way back into the game. So just because you died doesn't mean you're out. You can go into the gulag, you win the gulag fight, you get airdropped back in. The other caveat, if you don't win the gulag, but the other 2 teammates are doing very well, or maybe you're just down to 1 teammate, if they get enough cash, they can buy you back in at one of the buy stations. So there's a very interesting dynamic there that you're not always out of it until it gets down to the very end. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays into a tournament. You have more teams per game, so you have 50 teams of 3. So it's 150 players dropping in. There's just a lot I really, really like about the gameplay, and it feels great. It feels like the Call of Duty way to do the Battle Royale. It just fits the style that I want to play it in. Obviously, everybody's going to have their own choice. People really love Apex, and that's their thing. I get that. That's going to be your thing, and I don't think Call of Duty is going to win you over necessarily if you're already hooked on Apex, but I think this kind of fills that niche for some of us that were maybe kind of on the fence about Apex or on the fence about Fortnite or some of these other games. It's just it's not better, it's just different, I think is a good way to put it.
So that means I'll definitely have to be watching that stream. I have heard about the gulag thing, so I kind of thought that was definitely interesting. That's definitely going to give teams late in the game, if that gulag's still there, do I just do you buy them back in, or do you just hold off and see if they can make it out of the gulag
The
themselves?
good news is the gulag happens basically instantly once you get in there. It's just a queue of people to go through it, but it happens instantly, and your teammates do get alerted. So even if for some reason you have your mic muted, it tells you in game, even if you're playing with randoms, that this person won or this person lost in the gulag, so you know what's going on.
Oh, that's dope. Okay, so that'll definitely be interesting. That'll be our first event for Call of Duty Warzone. $150 prize pool, and once again, that is April 25th, live on CGL1. Excuse me, consolegamingleague.com/COD, which is COD, will be the registration and the info. That'll be right up on the website, nice and easy. Head to the website, click the COD page. All the good information that you need is right there. And following that, a week after, how about this? Halo 5 Guardians, Halo 5 2v2 on May 2nd, $150 prize pool. That will also be streamed on twitch.tv/CGL1. And that event information and registration will be up on consolegamingleague.com/Halo. Nice and easy there as well. Another 2v2. We did one of these back in November, I believe. The early turkey event.
That sounds
the early turkey event. That was a fun watch. I've never been much of a Halo guy, but Halo is the staple of the Xbox franchise.
Absolutely.
That was the first huge game. So this will be awesome to get Halo back into it, back into the fold here at CGL. Another 2v2, $150, Halo 5. That's going to be pretty exciting too, especially a week after the Call of Duty Warzone event. So I'm excited for that. I'm going to have to check that one out as well, because all I remember about Halo is that I was god-awful, and that's why I never played after probably like Halo 2 or Halo 3.
Sure.
So
I've never been a big Halo guy. I go on record as saying I really just don't like Halo. That being said, I do like to watch Halo. I do like to watch it competitively. I just don't like to play it.
It has a weird
feel. It has a weird feel to me, and I think it's easy to watch. That's the other thing. It's very straightforward, almost like a Call of Duty type game is to watch, where you kind of have an understanding of what takes place. There's not a lot of variants that are taking place, so it's very straightforward. My biggest memory of Halo was the energy sword and how OP that thing was when certain people got it, because it was a one-hit kill every single time. And that's probably what turned me away from the game, where I was like, all right, this doesn't feel right. But you probably won't see any of that in Halo 5 Guardians. I don't think we'll see much of that. So I'm curious to see how that goes. I know you get a lot of nice sniper action too. I'm always a fan of a game where you can get some sniper action going on.
Yeah, nothing better than watching a dude zoom in, one shot, boom, taking out a whole team. Especially 2v2. That's an interesting play style that you need to go through. So that's another great tournament that you'll have to keep an eye out for. And hey, if you do play Halo and you want to get involved, just like if you want to play Call of Duty and you want to get involved with Warzone, sign up. All the information's on the website. It'll be nice and easy for you. Answer all your questions right then and there. Check the website, get involved in those events, tune out to watch if you like those games or are just a fan of competitive gaming in general. Those tournaments will be popping off. They will be fun, and they'll be right on the main Twitch channel, so you don't have to hunt. If you're in the server, get ready for them pings. It'll be great, and hopefully, good luck to all the teams out there. Hopefully, we get 2 good tournaments off of that, and something that, if the fans like it, could get more of that in the future.
Yeah.
So excited for that stuff. We still have a lot of things going with the spring schedule, a lot of Smash, a couple sports games get involved in there. So pick up the sticks, boys and girls.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of tournaments to get involved in. Spreading the wealth, as we like to do here at CGL. Now, get into our last segment of the show here. It's the off-topic fury section.
Yes.
That we like to go here. The quarantine. I don't know.
I don't know what to call it exactly. The don't leave your house time of this year as it is. I don't know what you call it. We need a better title for it than quarantine, because it's not truly a quarantine. It's a shelter, just stay at home, just all essentials. But it's a strange time, and I don't think it's anything that any of us have ever experienced. I mean, it's completely different. It's about 2 generations away from anybody experiencing anything like this. But I think the good news and the silver lining in the whole deal is we're at a great time to be able to stay connected with people. You know, technology's in a place where we can occupy our time and still stay connected with everybody that we need to. So I think we are extremely better off now. we're more built for this. Aside from the medical advances and all that kind of stuff, I'm just talking about your day-to-day life. It's a little bit more bearable than it would have been even 10, 15 years ago, I think.
Oh yeah. Crap, like 10 years ago? Like what? You said you're working from home, Skate? Yeah. Like that's this whole thing. One of the sports talk hosts I was listening to during the week, actually, he was talking about it, and he was like, the one thing that's good, like we've learned that we can work from home, and people, and like that's such a thing. Like the older you get, if you're a youngin' right now, if you're 14 to 16, like you're not going to think of this now, but remember this 5 to 10 years from now. The older you get, the more you're just running around, and your free time, whether it be 2 hours, an hour and a half, becomes so important, and you look forward to that so much. This has kind of shown us that, hey, if you don't want to come in to the office one day, you can do this from home.
Yeah.
And be in a more comfortable and relaxing environment than the pressures of being at the office, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, maybe it's helping people. I know for me personally, it's helping me realize how much money I was just like, I'm bored. Let me go out and buy 2 shirts that I don't need.
Yeah.
Just to get out of the house.
We would just fill our time with that frivolous shopping that we don't need. We really don't need to do it. Like,
no.
It's wild, and it also brings to light the smaller things in life and how important they really, really are. Like, you take for granted the ability just to be able to, like, I don't know, maybe stop at the gas station on your way to work in the morning or whatever and grab a coffee or an energy drink or whatever it is. And now it's to go out and do that during this climate it's a task. It's a chore to get out and get some things done. So it puts it all in perspective that, you know, the finer things in life are what we usually overestimate. We take it for granted, as it were.
Without a doubt. That's very true. So today is Easter. So if you celebrate that, I hope you're with your immediate family, or, you know, talking to them on FaceTime, or maybe even a Discord call. Who knows what ways people are using now.
Hangout, Google Chat, I think is what it's called now.
Google
Hangouts
Chat.
is rebranding to Google Chat, I saw this week. So.
Good old Google Chat, Zoom, that's been a popular thing so
AOL
far.
Instant Messenger.
If we could bring AIM back, I'd be so happy.
I wish.
Putting the freshest lyrics in the away message.
Oh yeah, those were the days.
Those were great days. You get a message from a bot that if you don't send this to 5 people in the next 12 hours, they're gonna jump outside your window
and murder you or something. Yeah, it was always the most extreme thing. If I didn't copy and paste this to 5 friends.
God, the internet's so weird.
It is, but the internet's great because the internet is keeping us sane during this time. We're seeing all these great things come out and all this great content that people are creating. There's a lot of fluff, but there's some great stuff getting made out there.
That's very true. And I put this in our little rundown. I put the weirdest thing we saw on TV this week. And I don't watch a lot of TV, but I really felt like a degenerate yesterday when I was watching this. The local NBC Sports Network here.
Okay.
I live in the Philadelphia area, for those of you that don't know. So I'm sitting there and I turn on NBC Sports Network, and they are playing a live simulation of MLB 20, the show.
Okay.
Because on 4/11/20, the scheduled game was the Phillies hosting the New York Mets, and it was Aaron Nola versus Marcus Stroman on the mound. And I hear the familiar voice of Tom McCarthy calling the action. He is casting this live from his house while they are playing a computer simulation of MLB The Show. And I watched about 3 to 4 innings. Bryce Harper hit this monster 370-foot home run. And I'm sitting there cheering. And my girlfriend just goes like, Matt, you got to turn this off. This is embarrassing.
No. All right. No. Got to cut her off right there. We miss sports, okay? We miss it. We miss it bad. ESPN is now running commercials. This is the weirdest thing I saw on TV this week. ESPN now has this like sad dramatized commercial that they run that is all these sports clips of these great moments, and at the end it pops up, says ESPN. It says, "We miss it too." I had a tear shed. I was like, yes, I know ESPN. I miss it too.
It's only been a month.
Oh God, it feels longer than that, man. We got cheated out of one of the best times of the year, which is that March Madness into this Masters, because this was a great week because you would have had the Final Four last weekend. The championship game on Monday night, and then it would have led into the Masters this week, and it was a great little time that we got cheated out. And I think, wasn't the Kentucky Derby supposed to take place sometime soon? That's usually spring.
Yeah, it's either the end of April or like midway through May.
Yeah.
Because I know the Kentucky Derby, I think the Kentucky Derby's the first
Oh, you
Saturday.
know what? I think it's Mother's Day, maybe. Or no.
Is it Mother's Day weekend?
Of April. Let's look it up. I got time here real quick while we're talking, but
because I know the Derby, and then it's like 2 weeks later, it's like the Preakness, and then the Belmont.
Yeah, it was originally supposed to be May 2nd, it looks like.
Wow.
It has been rescheduled for September the 5th. That's the other interesting thing that I saw from the PGA Tour, at least the major events. They are getting those rescheduled.
Yeah,
I don't know about some of the minor events, but the majors did all get moved. We are going to have, was it a November Masters? Is that what it was?
Yes.
Oh my word. That's going to be so strange because you're used to seeing Augusta, Georgia in spring, and you have all the blooming trees and the green. That was the thing about the Masters was it was one of those events when HD TV first came out where you could look at your TV and you were blown away by Augusta. It's something else. But to see it in the fall when you have no leaves on those trees, it's going to be an eerie sight.
It's going to be weird.
It's going to be strange.
You're going to have like mid to early late season NFL and Masters Sunday on the same. That's actually going to be. That's going to be a very strange but a very cool Sunday for sure.
Also, rip XFL.
Sad. That breaks my heart too. I was actually not heavily invested, but I was loving the XFL. This installment of the XFL, but yes,
it was way better than the last installment. That's for sure.
I think there was probably like 4 teams that needed to get a better quarterback, and quarterback play is ultimately what I thought would make or break the XFL. Yeah. But PJ Walker, who was who was on pace to be the MVP of the XFL, now might start. No, he won't beat out Teddy Bridgewater, but he is on an NFL roster in Carolina.
You gotta have 2 gloves to beat Teddy.
That's true. That's very true. That is very true. But I actually thought XFL was off to a good thing, and it was going to set up nicely as a feeder system or developmental system for the NFL, I thought. But this, that sucks to go through this type of thing. What, 4 weeks in?
Yeah, is that how many weeks we had? Did we get 4 in? Oh man, that's
4 or 5. Oh man,
it never really got a chance to really get started.
No, and it was obviously the talent's not as great as the NFL is, but man, it was cool that in between this time period where you'd get one NBA game on a weekend that was broadcasted, like you could still watch football, and it wasn't terrible football.
Yeah, right.
Like especially now, today we'd have NBA and NHL playoff games. You have Masters Sunday. There's so much that's not going on in the sports world, driving me crazy. I might legitimately start using my Twitch channel as just Matt wants to cast sports games, so he's just going to let the computers play each other
and just call the action
over it. I need something.
Hey Matt,
I'm just lost here.
Baseball may be to the rescue. They're trying.
Oh yes. All right, let's touch on that real quick. Sorry if you don't like sports, you're probably like, what the hell?
They turned us off anyways at this point. If you're still listening, you're listening because you like this.
That's true. You like us and you like sports, or maybe you just like us. Did you hear the latest thing that I was hearing all day Friday, and I was definitely about it, where they would
in Arizona?
In Arizona and in Florida.
Oh, I didn't hear about a second site.
Okay, so they were talking about the Grapefruit League and the Cactus League.
Yes.
Serving basically as your NL and AL this year. They were breaking the Cactus and Grapefruit Leagues up into 3 divisions each. I know the Phillies division, if this were to happen, would be the Tigers, the Pirates, the Yankees, and someone else. There's a fifth team in there. Yes, because they all play within an hour of each other in Florida.
Oh my.
So they were breaking, and the one division was like the Nationals, the Braves, the Cardinals. Like it was a murderer's row.
Yeah, you're like, no, I don't want any part of that.
It was like and those teams would play each other 16 times each. So like, yeah, go ahead. Those teams could beat each other up.
Well, I thought the joke was, if they decide to play all these games in Arizona, that it wouldn't be much different from a daytime game during a regular MLB season in Arizona. The crowd is going to look exactly the same. If you've never seen a daytime game in Arizona, there's nobody there.
Absolutely, literally, people. The Diamondbacks have always been that they won a World Series in 2001. They've kind of
it was on the back of Randy Johnson, wasn't it?
On the back of Randy and the back of Curt Schilling before he went psychotic and crazy.
Oh my God. There's our video game tie-in. That's our video game tie-in. Curt Schilling.
That's right. Curt Schilling, who had a bloody sock and won a World Series with the Red Sox, their first World Series title in like 90
86 years. I'm a fan.
86 years. That's good. Skate's got the numbers down. He went through some of that time period. That was a great series, by the way. But Curt Schilling, the man that was a hero, invested a lot of money into a video game company, and they went bankrupt in like 3 months.
Yeah,
and ever since then, he has been absolutely crazy. He needs to put his Twitter fingers away and just go away for a while.
Yeah, we love you, Kurt, but stop. Just step away for a minute now.
You've already done damage. Just step away. ESPN, that'll hire literally anybody. They want nothing to do with Curt Schilling because he is that crazy. And ESPN will literally hire anybody.
They will. They're hurting. I don't know if you guys have seen that in recent years. Everybody left and went to Fox. So now ESPN's like, does anybody want to? I think my phone rang at one point and it said Bristol, Connecticut, and I just hung it up. Like I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, not worth it. And they also turned what was a great sports show, Sports Center, into The View, with minimal actual sports topics. But that's another part for another day here.
That's another filler for another week when we're short of things because of quarantine.
The Diamondbacks haven't been relevant in a long time, and they have a very nice stadium.
Yeah, they do.
Dome. It's air conditioned. They have a pool out in right field. Do they still have
that hill out in center field?
I think they took. You know what? No, they took that away.
Okay.
They just have a massive, big black wall that if you hit a 420-foot shot to center field, you don't know if it's a home run or not.
Oh, good.
Because
Good. That's way better.
Not...
You know what? This is way better than having a weird mound that people have to run up as they get close to the wall. That was the strangest thing I'd ever seen. They're like, we've got this little mound out here that people can run up. It's like,
it's unique.
Why? I don't know. There's a lot of things that don't make sense to me. But no one goes to their games, so it would have been there. But yeah,
now they're talking about this Florida and Arizona split site, and the only time there would be any long travel would be the eventual World Series, where you'd be flying from Arizona to Florida. But I think they pegged that to be around November. So
they can do that just about anywhere, maybe at that point.
Yeah, hopefully. So that'll be interesting if anything comes from that. Also, they're starting I think they might have started it yesterday, or maybe they're doing it today, but a horse tournament.
Did that finally get underway? I know they're doing it with like webcams and things. It's interesting.
Interesting. I might check into it, but I don't know.
I think we just need
more
dunking. We need more esports on TV right now.
Esports.
More ESPN, esports. We're talking to you. I'm available to cast that for you if you need. I have a lot of free time
right there
after about 4:30 Eastern, so let me know. I'm available.
Come our way. We might need to tweet at them. If you are still listening, feel free to tweet at ESPN and say,
yeah, clip it, send it, and say, hey, these guys need to be on the air. The Ocho.
These guys will cast. We'll cast on the Ocho. We'll cast on the Cinco. We'll cast on the whatever channel they want to come up with next.
Yes. Absolutely.
But I will say the last thing, quarantine has been active for 1 month now. We've been 1 month without sports.
Yep.
Any older new hobbies taking time in life now? All I can really say is that I've thought about, I used to be able to finger crochet like a god back in the day.
Oh, really?
And I'm thinking about starting that again, but I also have a feeling that anytime I want to do that, that's when my friends text me and say, hey, we're getting on Xbox, and then I eventually end up on Xbox.
Yeah, I hear you there. The only thing I would really say is I've grown weirdly less lazy during this time. I've started to do a little bit of home repair because I've just kind of been here and just stared at some of this every so often. So I'm starting to do some electrical work in the house. And today, on the back of the video that we were discussing earlier, GoldenEye, I actually broke out the Raspberry Pi that I have that has some Nintendo and Super Nintendo emulators on it and hooked it up to the TV. It's actually on my TV right now that I can see. I got it all fired up and going just as we started to record this. So I might go some retro gaming here in the next few days.
I think that would be a very good option. And yeah, it is odd. I've gotten less lazy as well. Like, I've done a lot of cleaning, gotten a lot of crap out that's just been sitting in my closets for God knows how long. It's a very odd time, but
it is.
Bank account wise and
it's looking good, isn't it?
Wise,
if you can stay working
good
right now, my God, it's a weird it's weird how that happens, right? Like, I can't go out and spend this money; it just accumulates.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
who would have thought?
I wouldn't have. But hey, we ended up making it an hour. We didn't think we'd make it an hour.
No, we didn't, and we did.
We did it.
I'd say we can take the rest of the day off now.
I like your thinking.
I like it. I got nothing more, Skate.
No, I would say
words.
Just follow all of the CGL stuff on all the social medias, on the Instagram. Let's see, the Twitch, obviously CGL1. What do we have? It is on Facebook if you happen to be a Facebook person. Console Gaming League on Facebook. Twitter, Console Gaming LG. Let's see, if you are in the Overwatch Discord, this is the one I wanted to get out. There is a channel where you can get stream notifications. So it's a self-assigning roles channel in the Discord. So it'll be where you find, like, giving yourself Xbox and PS4. There's one called Stream Ping. Make sure you get that role, and when all these channels go live with these different Overwatch games that we are trying to broadcast, you will get notified with that stream ping, so you'll know on whose channel it is and where it's going to be and all that information. So make sure you go get that stream ping role in the Overwatch Discord.
It's very effective. I gave it to myself, and I'm watching a lot more games than I thought I originally would. So it's a very effective and useful role to have in the server. So I definitely can back that up. Get that role. Get them views out. Watch your competition. You know, there's going to be games in your tier getting streamed.
Yeah, get that game film.
No better way to study up. Get the game film. Roll that team next time you play them. Copy their strats. Whatever you want to do. It's useful.
Absolutely. I think that's going to do it, man.
We're episode 2. We'll be back next week. Thank you to everyone that's going to check this out, whether it's the purely audio version, which is on Spotify and anywhere else you want to listen to a podcast these days. We're there. Get it. If you watch the YouTube version and you see our beautiful faces, the bearded brothers, as we are during this time, thank you. And we'll be back next week for episode 3 of the Breakdown Podcast. We hope you're enjoying the new format. For Skate, I'm Witty. Thank you very much. We'll check you out next week.
Bye.
Stay safe.